Center of the storm is about 300 miles away from Orlando. It is moving closer to us, and actually the hurricane hunters did find some stronger winds in here early this morning. So near the center of the storm, we do actually have winds up to 60 miles per hour, so it's intensified a little bit. Still expecting Andrea to make landfall in the Big Bend area later this evening and then quickly move up the East Coast and away from Central Florida. So it's only going to be impacting us today. First, we have a threat for some tornadoes right now through 11 a.m. Right along the turnpike is where we are seeing this heavy line of rain in Osceola County. We've got wind gusts inside of here up to 40 and 50 miles per hour. But when we turn this on the side, you can see these aren't huge thunderstorms that we often get in the summertime. It's more about a rain event. It's not strong winds. We've got rain coming down at 2 and 3 inches per hour. We also have rain falling in Orange County, but the rain is not nearly as heavy here either. We've got rain here at about a ½ inch per hour. So the farther north you go right now, the lighter your rain is, but the threat for these stronger storms off to the south. And it looks like, Eric, this might be, is this a brand new warning? Is this something left over from earlier?
No, it looks like that's actually a brand new warning.
A brand new tornado warning that has just been issued now for Osceola County. So this is the area that we were watching here just a few minutes ago in the Osceola County area along the turnpike here. And now this whole area is making its way to the north. So here's a little track for you showing where it's headed. Lake Marion Highlands at 6:40 this morning. Well, that's happening right now, so it's continuing north from here. Kenansville by 6:51, and then Lake Howard by the time we get to 6:54. Often we get into these situations where there's just one right after the other as these lines make their way so quickly. So you have to be prepared today for this changing weather situation. It's going to be a concern now right through 11 o'clock until this line clears our area. Once it does around lunchtime today, we're going to be in the clear. So it's just a few hours this morning. This threat will pass, and then we'll get another second threat tonight when the center of Andrea actually gets a little bit closer to us. So another look here at the velocity where you see the greens and reds together. We're zoomed in here. There's the turnpike in Osceola County. This is the reason that the tornado warning was issued. This is 8 Mile Ranch Road, Coaches Lane, some of the streets there. There's North Canoe Creek Road where we have a little bit of rotation being spotted in the radar. Canoe Creek Road, Southport. So we're basically just on the outside of Southport. And this whole area, there's actually looks like there's two separate little areas here of rotation moving to the north. So the leading edge of this headed up toward Erlo Bronson Memorial Highway, headed up toward Narcoossee by 719. Now, I can't guarantee that this line will still have the same rotation in it by then, because remember, the weather is constantly moving, constantly changing. It's a fluid situation. But anytime we have these rain bands, we could have these little spin-ups happen at any time. So a good idea to just stay inside at this point if you are in Osceola County instead of trying to get out and head to work. If you can hold off for about another half an hour, I would say that threat will clear because that line is moving so quickly to the north. The tornado warning is in effect for this area here in Osceola County, which includes St. Cloud, about 30,000 people or so inside this red box, and that's in effect until 7:15. Now, we may see the warning extended as the line continues its trek to the north, because this is a whole huge area, whole huge line of rain that we're dealing with, not only with the potential of tornadoes, but even just heavy rain. The rain outside of the warning area in Kissimmee, St. Cloud, up near the attractions, Disney World, SeaWorld, even up into Windermere, the Oak Ridge area, we have this heavy rain coming down. The one we're concerned about now is in Orange and Seminole counties, but notice we do have more lines on the way. We have other tornado warnings that have been posted down in the Tampa area, so we do have to continue to monitor this for the next several hours. In fact, our tornado watch is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, as the center of Andrea is still making its way closer to the Gulf Coast, expected to make landfall, I would say by about 5, 6 o'clock tonight, moving to the northeast at 15 miles per hour, so getting to the Big Bend area this evening. But once that happens, then we'll still continue to see those bands wrap around and bring us the tornado threat. Remember, we are on the right side of the center of that storm with not only the forward motion of the storm to consider, but then the winds that are wrapping around the center. So when you get the winds going this way and the winds going this way, you start to get some spinning. And that is what we are seeing in this area right here, the Bithlo area in Christmas. This storm, the warning, the rotation part has now lifted to the north from where it was earlier. So this kind of southern section here down toward Lake Hart really no longer in the warning. It's more the Chulliota area, Bithlo, and points north. So that means Seminole County, Geneva. If you are in northern Brevard County, you need to be on standby because this heavy rain and potential rotation is moving your way. Of course, we've had downpours with this as well, but there's the Christmas area as we zoom in closer. There's Bithlo and the Wheeler Road there, Pebblebrook Court. If you're in any of these locations, you can see this is the velocity mode again, kind of tweaked tightly to show the greens and the reds up against each other. This is likely, if we do have a tornado or a funnel cloud, this is going to be the general location where we do have that rotation happening, and it's just outside of Bithlo, right along State 50 between Bithlo and Christmas. So if you're trying to leave the house right now, if you're trying to head out, you may want to just hold off. It is much better to just be safe than sorry. There's no guarantee that we actually have a tornado hitting the ground, but we've had so many of these little spin-ups today, and we've already had pictures from all over the state of Florida, South Florida, back to the south and west of us, south and east of us. So just keep in mind that as this lifts very quickly to the north, we are going to be dealing with this threat for the next several hours. Good afternoon once again. It is 1:32. I'm Amy Sweezey. I know we're interrupting tennis for a few minutes here because we do need to let you know about the changing weather situation. We are still monitoring Tropical Storm Andrea, which does appear that it's not that far from making landfall here. This area of low pressure looks a little less impressive now on the satellite and on the radar as it moves closer to the Big Bend area, but it is still sending these rain bands wrapping around the outside edge. You can see Tampa finally getting a little bit of a break from the rain, but now all of these rain bands firing up some rotation here in central Florida. In fact, we do have a tornado warning that is in effect for southern Osceola County and also southern Brevard. There's Palm Bay, there's Melbourne. This tornado warning in effect for about 15 more minutes, a little less than 15. It goes until 1:45. So it's the Kenansville area, it's Lucosi. We've actually seen some weak rotation right in this area here, and these rain bands lifting so quickly to the north that it will be heading up into southern Brevard County, just to the west of I-95. Now notice what we've been watching all day, several tornado warnings in effect to the south of us. We also have a warning that's in effect now in Polk County with these little rain-wrapped twisters moving up that may continue up into Osceola County here along the turnpike. Still a little bit too soon to tell. What's been happening is they've been moving to the north, kind of weakening, and then the warning expires and then we get a new warning that's posted. Very typical situation in a tropical storm as it makes landfall near central Florida, especially we're on the right side of the center of the storm. There's all kinds of lightning down near Lake Okeechobee too, so it's not just rain. We have some thunderstorms as well. Another tornado warning along I-95 stretching from Fort Pierce down just outside of Stewart. That line of storms is going to be heading up toward Vero Beach and then eventually up toward Brevard County as well. The thing that we're keeping the closest eye on is the twisting of the winds inside the radar. This is the velocity mode. We've got the reds and the greens turned on, which is the winds blowing to the radar and away from the radar. So we're seeing a little bit of this. It's not nearly as impressive as some of the areas of rotation that we've seen earlier today. But the thing is, you don't always see this. They can just kind of twist down very quickly, do some damage, and then head back on up into the cloud. So if you are in this area now in Lucosi, Lake Marion Highlands, stretching up even into Palm Bay and Melbourne, you're just getting rain right now, but you just need to be on standby. Be on alert. Make sure you've got batteries in your weather radio. Make sure that you've got your smartphone, our app from WESH.com. that tells you if there is any kind of warning for your area, because you'll find that out when that alarm sounds, of course. So this is the only area that has a warning in central Florida right now, but we are still dealing with heavy rain all around the rest of the region. We've already had several reports of flooding. Got a report of 12 inches of rain in the Bellevue area from those showers coming down. One of our viewers there reporting their backyard looks like a swamp, and I know that's true for many of you that have been dealing with this heavy rain since this morning. Our tornado watch is in effect until 10 o'clock tonight, so we're going to continue to see these on and off warnings, no doubt issued until the threat completely passes.
perspective.
Yes, and that is Andrea, this tropical storm. Eric, there's a couple of things that's interesting to note. One is the center of the storm not as impressive as earlier. Second, speeding up a little bit, it actually looks like it is not that far away from making landfall here in the Big Bend area. If you kind of watch the spinning going around here, you can see once this makes landfall, it will lose a little bit of its punch. And notice we're already starting to see a break from the rain right along the Gulf Coast. So this may be a little bit earlier end to this than originally anticipated. The faster this moves, the faster it gets out of here.